So please say and spell your name for the camera.
My name is Luke Schantz. That's Lukeschantz.
And Luke, you are one of the panelists tonight for Disruptive Technologists. Can you tell me how that came about and how you know Lauren Keeson?
Well, I am known for being disruptive, so that's probably the first thing. And I'm also known for being a technologist, so they just came together perfectly. And I met Lauren at an event, I don't remember what event, and we had known each other, and were aware of each other. And then a colleague forwarded me her message. I guess she was like, "Hey, who at IBM can we get here?" And then he was like, "Oh," and then it just connected the dots that we already knew each other, and it just made sense. So it was network. We knew each other, and then we also had 1 degree of separation from someone else that she was asking.
Well, that's very common, especially in New York, especially. So you said now, and then also when we were talking earlier, you consider yourself a disruptor. What does that even mean today in 2019, and especially with technology, AI, just the advancements we have? How do you become disruptive?
Well, it's funny you say it. I think I was innately disruptive my whole life, and I'm ahead of the curve in many parts, and maybe that wasn't exactly disruptive, but it was definitely innovative. And I think now with disruptive, it's about intelligent disruption, right? Because it's great if you see how wrong everything is and you can make it better, but you still have to work within the system. So I feel like and actually I borrowed that from a colleague, Sam Hamden says that, but the idea of intelligent disruptions. So being cognizant of your your ecosystem and your environment, and trying to be really calculated and trying to provide value to the system, not just being because a lot of engineers and software developers can sort of sometimes be sort of hot shots, right, or kind of know-it-alls. And it's if you want to do both, right, you want to get ahead and advance your business or advance your technologies, but you need to do it in a way that also plays nice with the way things are, which doesn't always go as fast as you want. So I'm maybe I'm mildly disruptive sometimes, even though I want to be 100% disruptive.
You're holding it in. You're when the time comes, I'm gonna go full force.
My grandfather used to say, "Opportunity favors the prepared mind."
Wow, I like that. I usually hear "fortune favors the bold," but I like that one better. So you have a really interesting background, not only IBM, but also the experiences you've had prior to this. Can you give me a little background on yourself?
Yeah, I can do my life story and
or your working background.
That is my life story.
Oh, well then go for it.
My family had an electronics manufacturing company that made entertainment lighting. So it was around technology from day one. Then in my teens, 12, 13 even, I was doing mass fax marketing on a 386 computer for the family business, and then worked at the family video store, and then we became wholesale lighting salesmen. And so I knew all about theatrical stuff and production and automation and intelligent lighting and these sorts of things. And then I saw what was happening, so then I wanted to become media for stage designer, so combining video and media. And that's where, again, it was not exactly, I wouldn't call it disruptive, but I was ahead of the curve because I had some industry knowledge that was, really lucky to see that, as a young person, and then have this insight. And then I was able to, work in entertainment technology, and then did a startup that combined video. It was a video platform using computer vision and these sorts of things. And then I was able to, then I got recruited by SoftLayer, which got bought by IBM, and then they've just kept me around. Yeah.
That's very cool. And especially, so now, entertainment technology is everywhere. It's in the shops we go to, it's at the amusement parks, it's in, even modern day things that we use every day, like cars. And the list goes on, but what do you see now that excites you?
Well, so I'm a kind of an IoT guy, so I really enjoy hardware and making things that use both, right? Onboard, or if it's IoT, you call edge computing, and then cloud computing. And on the cloud side, I must say part of what our theme here tonight is AI, machine learning, data science, and I think everyone's looking for this the killer app, or the general purpose AI that's going to change everything. But I really think that the real value we're going to see is be more incremental across the entire board, right? So everything we're doing is already driven by algorithms. what we listen to, what we watch, even the things that are being made are driven by the data, right? Like Netflix chooses what they're going to make based on what they know we're going to want to see. And so I think what's neat is, enterprise and business AI and machine learning and data science is going to create like much better high quality experiences across hopefully every sector of our lives. And it won't necessarily be this like talking robot or like, and we will have some of that. We're gonna have self-driving cars. The robots are already here, but I think the real like thing, and that's what excites me, because sure, I love the sci-fi and I love that robot story and I love Battlestar Galactica, and I just watched The Expanse, which I loved, which was brilliant. But really, I think the overall quality of life where it's going to hit us is going to be much more invisible, but it's going to be driven by this. So it doesn't seem as maybe exciting, but I'm actually really excited about it because it's real and it's going on, and having, and actually working in the industry, you're touching it. So it's like, oh man, that's real. It's not just an idea or a story. Or I love startups. I've been in startups. I help startups, but there's something about things that are real now and at scale that kind of is exciting.
Yeah. I mean, you're so right. It is. It's the stuff that's happening like right now that maybe in 10 years from now we'll go, oh yeah, that's what that was. But I think that is so cool now that we're doing. And then the panel tonight, very excited to hear you speak, all our other great panelists. Real quick, do you think robots will take over the world at some point?
I don't think robots will take over the world, but I think, I think what it means to be human will change.
That's really, I agree with that. Okay, well, thank you so much. Do you want to plug anything before we go? Any exciting projects? Social media handles? Floor is yours.
Well, it's at Luke Shantz on Twitter, Luke Shantz on Instagram, but it's really just street photography. That's check it out. Yeah. And I would say the thing I'm working on right now that I'm excited about is I'm working on collaboration with IBM Watson and Sony's Presence Board. So I was talking about, it's like computing on the edge with like low power microcontroller from Sony, and then processing the data in the cloud with IBM Watson.
Very nice. Well, I can't wait to see updates on that. I'm going to follow you right now.
Thank you.
Well, after this, not right now. Cool. Thank you so much, Luke.
You.
Thank you. That was awesome. Okay. So just have you say your name for the camera and your role.
I'm Oliver Christie, and I'm an AI consultant.
And Oliver, so you have a very important role at these events. You normally give a nice speech and make some introductions. How did you come about being a part of this? And how many years have you been a part of this?
I've been a part of it for a number of years. I think originally one of the moderators dropped out. He just couldn't make it. And at the very last minute, I said, could you come and do it? So I was like, yes, sure. I've been interested in AI and subjects around the future, around change. So this was a perfect fit.
Very nice. And it seems like each time we have more and more interesting groups of people, all expertise at things I had never even considered to be, jobs or organizations. And it's just a very cool thing to have all of these great minds come together. Are you surprised at each event by the diverse speakers you guys get?
I think so. New York is very diverse anyway, in terms of different types of people, different backgrounds, different views on the world. And being able to bring it together in one place is fantastic. And I think New York is really starting to become a strong tech hub. Obviously AI and a few other technologies. So to bring people together to share experiences and background it's fantastic.
Yeah. You bring up an excellent point, being in New York, where people that are probably watching this, maybe they're in New York, maybe they're not. And for those people that don't know, we're at Microsoft, which is a big deal. Not everyone gets to come here and see a bunch of great speakers talk about what they're, passionate about and what's on the trend. But also, we kind of have some work to do to compete with Silicon Valley. What do you think would differentiate the New York tech scene to the West Coast?
Firstly, I think New York is caught up, and I think for some things it's overtaking. I think it's the diversity we have in that we've got people from all around the world here. Obviously, a lot from Europe. I'm from the UK originally, but it's the mix of people. It's such different backgrounds and experiences. And this is what makes the technology right now work. If you have a team or a company and people are of one mind or just one type of experience, guess what? The technology isn't as strong. The diversity we have here matters a great deal. And I think people maybe forget that.
Yeah, another great point where I think now we're starting to see more in the media and news headlines that diversity is up and coming, and so it should have been for a while, but now I think people are starting to see what a positive impact it is when we see it advertised to us. And I think you and I both know that in the workplace it's super important, seeing people of different backgrounds talking to other people, just to see that it's a possibility to maybe one day, work at a great startup or change the world with a new technology. That excites me, but I want to know what excites you right now.
It's actually that type of diversity as well. We in New York are quite it's more liberal, should we say, more greater worldview, and up till now, a lot of the conversation around diversity has been it's a good thing in itself. I would suggest that actually it's a very good thing for both the future of capitalism and the future of the technology we're building. If you have lots of white guys in a room with, I don't know, the same type of experience, the same type of background, the same type of voice, whatever you build is only going to be suited to that very small set. As soon as you start bringing more people in, the technology build is a lot better. I think the big tech companies have had a big problem with this, which is why speech to text doesn't work very well, or it certainly doesn't work for everyone, me included. And you think, but my accent isn't so strange or so strong. And yet speech to text is only starting to work for me. Well, this shouldn't be the case. Diversity is the thing which makes better tech, but it also makes better companies.
Very, very nice. Well, I'm looking forward to hearing you tonight and also our lovely panelists. Can you give me a little insight on what the topic is for the audiences that are coming in?
Yeah, so broadly speaking, it is the future of jobs, or rather the future of AI, how it's going to impact companies, government, some of the skills we might need next, and some of the challenges. And the challenges are pretty big. We are already having job loss through AI, and it's going to accelerate. We need to think about what we can build next with the tech, what new industries we can make. So some of it is the upcoming dangers, shall we say, some of the opportunities, and really how to prepare for what's just about to arrive.
Very nice. Well, I'm looking forward to it. Thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us, and have a lovely event. Break a leg.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Oliver. Conversation. Okay.
Sure.
So just please say your name for the camera.
Bjorn Austraat.
And Bjorn, you are one of the many fabulous panelists tonight. How did you get involved, and how did Lauren contact you to be a part of this?
So Lauren and I know each other from the Cal Alumni Club of New York, and so that's the connection was created there. And I work for IBM and have to do a lot with AI and machine learning, so that's why it was a natural fit for the panel tonight.
Absolutely. And how long have you been with IBM?
6 years. And I was previously in Watson, currently work for a large financial services institution as my only client, and before I was in Watson, and before in GBS, the strategy consulting branch of IBM.
Very nice. So you've definitely had your finger in multiple different aspects of your job, would you say?
Yeah,
nice.
Absolutely.
So tonight is a really interesting theme, talking about AI and technology in the job force, and what people can prepare for, but also expect. We just had Oliver talking to us previously about how the jobs are declining for people because AI is taking over. Something you're noticing, like in the trend of tech and jobs?
Well, it's like any disruption, there is some decline. So certain jobs, or I would say jobs that are mostly tasks, are being automated away. This is true for any technology, including AI and machine learning. And there's transformation of jobs, so that AI is augmenting people and replacing certain parts of their job, but freeing up resources to do other things that are potentially more human and more interesting for a larger duration, or for more time. More mental cycles are available now for those parts of your job. So like any other automation or technology, yes, there are changes. Yes, some of them are not very pleasant. But in aggregate, I think it's a positive force, as it's creating a ton of new jobs that are very high quality jobs, typically, high earning potential jobs. And what I think is different about AI and machine learning is that the transformation is much faster than other technologies I've seen. So the web, the internet transformation and revolution was, in my estimation, if you looked at between 1995, if you were a travel agent in 1995, and then you looked again in the year that Google was incorporated in 2004, so 10 years later, your life had completely changed, your world had completely changed, because kayak has taken over, and online travel booking was a thing now, and so on. With AI, I think that's moving 2 to 3 times as fast. So it is more difficult to keep up. It is more disruptive in that way. But also the benefits are accruing much more quickly. So I'm quite bullish and optimistic about the labor situation in general. And the many professions are already being transformed. And there is a huge demand for certain new skills, less demand for older skills, lower, we'd call them low yield cognitive skills. And what's also net new is that there are new professions that are impacted now. So if you were a radiologist, for example, there was really no automation or very little automation in your job before, but now there are systems that aggressively automate away radiology, basic radiology findings. The same is true for basic legal research, basic, medical research. And so that's an interesting field. There aren't any simple answers, but there are certainly big challenges, ethical, educational, professional challenges that are arising that need to be addressed, and that we shouldn't just ignore. That's also, we can't stick our heads in the sand and say it's not happening or shouldn't happen or we'll make it illegal. So I think that's the challenge before all of us that work in this field and users of AI and machine learning to address that heads on.
Yeah, you bring up an excellent point where I think for people that are fearful of job loss should look at it as you said, freeing up their time to do probably more impactful work and things that they enjoy. And I know off the top of my head, Salesforce comes to mind as a company that really helps with companies a lot in New York and all over the world, just making things easier for customers and just user experience in general. But I think that's definitely something to embrace is, automation. When we think of that, it's very dull and dry and typically the things we don't want to be doing anyway during the day. And,
recently there was a really interesting story that went viral. An Uber driver who has a menu of rides that he gives to his passengers. And driving as a core task will be automated, I think, shortly, right? So the Uber driver has a menu, and the menu expresses everything that's fun and creative and human about the ride experience itself. And the choices are, you could have a silent ride, or a creepy ride where he just looks at you in the rearview mirror, or the stand-up ride where he tells jokes, or the therapy ride. And I thought that was a genius way to really make the service differentiated in a non-automatable way. And the pillars that I see as job security driving are empathy, which is not possible to automate, aesthetics, also very human and difficult or impossible to automate skill and task at this point, and then enlightenment. So if I have a coaching conversation with somebody that is tailored to them, then that's also, again, a machine will not likely do that, although machines are really good at delivering facts, right? So this, I would urge people to look at their jobs, the tasks within those jobs, which ones are likely to be automated, and then surround those tasks with things that are impossible to automate at this stage, at least, until we have general AI, which is a long ways off, I think. and take that as an opportunity. Have the machine do the boring, repetitive tasks that are composable into a bigger, work-life experience and profession, and then focus on the things that are uniquely human that you can contribute.
I think that's a really great suggestion, and I think we will be seeing more of that.
Yes.
So what are you, other than the advancements in job and tech and AI, what currently excites you right now? It could be a company, it could be an article you saw online. It was something recently that you went, wow, that's really different and disruptive.
I think that there's one of the most interesting areas of machine learning to me are are called GANs, and those are generative adversarial networks. And those, in plain English, means machines competing with other machines. And one machine will make an image that's fake and challenge another machine to say, can you tell if it's fake or not? And so the machines train each other at lightning speed. Recently, GANs have been used for a number of different tasks, and some of them very creative, like removing the background from a picture or telling or generating basically fake prose about a topic. And what I find so exciting about this is that there was the clip of the pace of change. So there was this news article, I think it's a few weeks ago now, that there was this big concern about a machine learning system that was able to create fake text, just auto-generate text, and it was very hard to distinguish from human authored text. And the concern was that you could make fake news or fake scientific articles or fake anything. And so the original inventors of that algorithm did not actually release the full algorithm into the wild because they were so concerned about the negative repercussions. Just today, this afternoon, MIT lab, Watson lab at MIT came up with a new machine that now can tell if the text has been fake generated by another machine. So that's weeks, right? So these the algorithms are playing catch up with each other, and every time there's supposedly something very scary or disruptive, within weeks or months, there's another solution that makes that a moot point. So I think it's not an arms race, it's an innovation race, and it's very, very fast. It does currently on a national, nation state and geographic level does create winners and losers. But I think the barriers of entry to start, let's say, a machine learning lab in a Midwestern state is getting smaller and smaller due to cloud infrastructure, rentable, high-performance hardware, and so on. So I think there's also opportunity to kind of even that playing field a little bit for talent across the country and across the globe.
Very nice. That is very exciting, and that's something I hadn't even heard about too. And I'm sure tomorrow or the next few days we'll have something else come up in the news that is an even newer innovation. Well, that's very exciting, and I'm also excited to hear you speak tonight. So best of luck. But if you want us to follow you on any social media or check out a website or something, feel free to plug anything right now.
I publish most of my little thoughts on LinkedIn. So if you find me on LinkedIn, and that will be hyperlinked, I'm sure.
LinkedIn's great. I love LinkedIn.
Okay.
Okay. Well, thank you so much.
Great. Okay. Thanks.
Best of luck. Alrighty. So I'll just have you say your name.
I'm Sep DeMeglio.
Sep, we talked to you last time. You are part of the Microsoft Reactor space, correct?
No, I'm actually on the Microsoft Developer Audience team.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
but we're in the Microsoft Reactor space
That's
today.
right. That's right. Okay. Thank you for clarifying. So what is your involvement today with this event?
So today I'm actually speaking on the panel. We're going to be talking about some pretty cool things regarding AI. I think there might be some robots thrown in. We'll see. I don't really know the full schedule.
They don't tell you. You're just as surprised as everyone else.
Yeah. I have like a general idea of like possible questions, but it's going to be on the spot, I think.
That's the best kind. That's what this is right now. You're on the spot.
I'm nervous, but I'm ready.
That's the best way to live life. Nervous but ready. So since like last time we talked, I want to say it was back in January.
It was a little colder.
Yeah, it was very much colder. What has been going on with Microsoft and just like updates in general? Like anything exciting going on?
I mean, there's always exciting things going on at Microsoft. I've been doing a lot of like research around AI and AI for good in particular. So I'm actually going to be running like a new campaign around like 5 things you didn't know about Microsoft AI this coming month that I'm going to be sending out to a few different programs that I work with. And some of the cool ones that like I really connect with, there's this really cool thing happening with Operation Smile and Microsoft AI and their Face API and the Power BI analytics and SharePoint. And essentially, do you know Operation Smile at all?
I do. So that's the organization that they help. Is it any country, or is it like specific ones where they help with dental care for kids and adults, right?
It's close.
Okay, all right, you tell me then.
It's essentially they repair cleft lips in just countries across the world, developing countries more so, but it's like this great organization. I actually used to like fundraise for them when I was in high school. So when I saw this like headline, I really connected with it, and I've been like looking into like what kind of technology they're using and things like that. And it's really cool because pretty much what they're doing is they're taking like before and after photos of the children pre and post surgery, and they're comparing the cleft lip repairs across multiple surgeons, and they're kind of ranking the surgeons, and then from that list of like highest success rate, they're having like the top surgeons give like tips and tricks to the other surgeons to kind of just help make better surgeries across the world, and like how they could better amplify that and things like that. So it's really cool. I think that's cool.
Yeah, that's amazing. I remember last time one of our speakers, I'm drawing a blank on the name, but was talking about technology and AI for social good, which is, I think people are amazed at just how much goes into like campaigns and just helping other people. So when you say you were looking to start a campaign, like what goes into that? Are you going to do things similar to this, like hosting events? Are you going to do social campaigns? Like what does that look like?
Yeah. So the developer audience team that I'm on actually bubbles up into marketing and operations within the US, and my team is specifically focused on engaging with developers, whether that's through like skilling, offering events, online webinars, in-person events, things like this, and like everything in between. So this one that I'm doing, it's kind of a quick one just to kind of get something into market to like help with news around new AI things that have recently come out or maybe don't have as much attention on them. So I'm making like a blog post around like these top 5 things in AI, and I'm gonna like promote it on social media, at events, on my developer podcast and things like that. Just bubbling up across all entities.
That's super exciting. And it's really cool to know that Microsoft is a really big advocate of social good. Like, what did you think about the Super Bowl ad that came out by Microsoft? All the feels, right?
Everyone loves that ad. When everyone plays, we all win. I think that's the tagline, right?
The best tagline. Yeah. Like, for people watching, if you haven't seen the Super Bowl commercial that Microsoft did this past year, it actually they win. They win everything.
It actually, like, I was like seeing my friends were all sending me the stuff because it was like top Super Bowl ad, like #1 best Super Bowl ad. Like, so I think they hit it home with that one. It was a really nice one, and it was great. It was a great ad. But they actually have an initiative that's AI for good. It's called like, it might just be, I don't remember the name, but it's like an AI for good initiative blanketed across like an X year program, specifically focused on AI for social good. So they're doing like AI for healthcare, AI for Earth, and just like other AI for social good campaigns and motions and initiatives across the company. And I think that's really great because like too often do people get wrapped up in all the negative elements and like the scary and like fearful elements of AI, and like you miss out on the attention of all the good that it could bring, I think. So it's really nice.
Absolutely. And tonight, the discussion is going to be based on jobs with AI and tech. And I think you brought up a lot of really good points and initiatives and campaigns that you are doing in your own work. What else do you think we're going to expect to hear from? Because we had another panelist talk about how like jobs are going to go down, but that's because a lot of automated jobs are going to be like obsolete, which is actually great for us because we can work on things that we care about. Yeah. So what do you think we're going to hear tonight?
Yeah. So, I mean, I had a chance to meet with a lot of the panelist speakers for dinner last week, and we kind of all talked about this idea of like artificial intelligence as a tool versus artificial intelligence as a robot takeover. And I think we're all pretty much on the same page that like we've been dealing with tools and like disruptive technologies for like hundreds of years now. And each time that we've had something that was going to disrupt the force and like make humans obsolete, blah, 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 we've always found a way to overcome that and become useful. And it's just part of adapting and like human creativity. Artificial intelligence is definitely a tool to facilitate in a lot of jobs or tasks. I don't think it's going to take over a job necessarily. I just think it's going to be something that, like you said, helps automate redundant tasks, allowing the human to put their energy and their time in more like thoughtful, creative ways.
Well, I'm excited to hear everyone tonight, and also excited to hear your thoughts on things. So break a leg.
Thank you. I'm excited too. I think I'm the youngest one on the panel. Ooh. And I'm the only one on the panel that's not specifically driving a career in artificial intelligence. Like, I'm in a more marketing role, and they're all in more like technology roles. And while I have like a tech background, what I do in my day-to-day right now is not heavily like, I'm not sitting down coding every day. So yeah. I'm interested to hear what they say too. Yeah. I'm excited.
But that's like to your benefit though, because like the majority of people that I think. Yeah, you think so? Well, yeah. Oh, that's what I was. Yes, you do. I got confused for a second. You do add a different perspective. What I was gonna say, the people sitting in our audience, probably not all coders. Yeah. So it's like you're giving a more relatable stance, things they've seen in real life, like the campaign. Like I think it's gonna be great. So, I hope so. I always love talking to you and hearing what you're working on. So
thank you so much.
Thank you, Sep.
Yeah, no problem. Happy to.
Well, do you want anyone to follow you on anything?
Oh, yeah. You can follow me on all of the medias at Ask Sep. Like, ask a question in my name, Sep.
Perfect. You didn't even have to buy that, did you?
No, it's just mine.
Nice.
I have actually a new, I just learned about and just made a LinkedIn point drive with like cool resources for new to career developers. So it's just aka.ms/AskSep. Nice. So.
All right. Well, hopefully if you're here, you can ask Sep some questions tonight.
Yeah, come up to me. I love talking.
I love talking to you. So there we go. We got that in common.
Thank you.
All right. We'll break a leg.
Thank you.
Thank you for talking to us.
No problem. Happy to, as always.
So just say your name for the camera.
I'm Gail Brewer, Manhattan Borough President.
And Gail, how did you hear about this event tonight, and what is your involvement in it?
Well, I'm a panelist, and the topic, of course, is disruptive technology, particularly AI, artificial intelligence. I think I heard about it. Obviously, I have a staff, and they probably got reached out to by the amazing Lauren. But also, I was chair of the technology committee during the 8 of the 12 years I was on the city council, and I passed the open data bill and other bills that have to do with tech. So I'm known particularly on data issues, which are related to AI. So that's what people know me for. So it's probably because of disruptive technology and knowledge of technology, particularly on the data side.
So if the innovations in tech in Manhattan particularly want to, be seen by more people or just expand, they have to go through you first?
No, not at all. Not at all. There are five boroughs in the 5 boroughs in the city of New York. Each one has a borough president. Mm-hmm. It's very different than a city council, very different than the mayor, the public advocate, the controller. So no, the answer to that is not correct. People have to, it's a big city. We're bigger than half the countries in the world, bigger than all the states except California and New York. Mm-hmm. So no, they should figure out what they're comfortable with. There's a do-it, there's a CTO, there's a CIO, there's a mayor, there's a city council, and a committee on technology. They don't go through us. We work with the community boards, in particular in Manhattan, to figure out how we can use the data so that they can plan for their neighborhoods. That we do. But no, they don't go through us. They go through whatever is comfortable for them.
Okay, perfect. So you explained that wonderfully to me. And I didn't even know that was a role that the city and the state of New York goes through. Well, I'm originally from Rhode Island, so that's
okay.
Why.
That's probably why, yeah, because people here know.
Definitely. So what, for a bill to be passed, what's something that you have seen recently that you've worked on that is passed?
Right. Well, obviously the open data bill, that was an example. You have to be a member of the city council, and there are 51 members, or as a borough president, I can sponsor with a council member. But the bill that we passed, the open data bill, was in 2011. and it was the most then, and I think maybe still now, the most innovative. What it says is that all 80 city agencies, we're much bigger than Rhode Island, all 80 city agencies, our budget is $92 billion, just to give you a sense. So all 80 city agencies have to put their data on the open data portal. And that's a big deal. They have to do it by the end of actually 2018. You know, some people are still working on it, but it's the police, it's the economic development, it's the consumer affairs, etc. And then working with either your own knowledge or hopefully with our office. We do have nonprofits that work with the community boards. We have 12 community boards, little city halls in Manhattan, 59 in the whole city. But only Manhattan, I think, is working on this data. So the answer to your question is this open data bill is now hopefully being used, because it's one thing to have the data, good for the agencies to talk to each other, but it's good also for the community to be able to use it. And we're working with them to peel back the onion and understand how the data can be used.
And tonight, so the theme is AI and tech in jobs, and how people can start seeing new advancements now, but also what to expect in the future. A lot of people, not myself because now I'm educated by everyone here, worry that, you know, the advancements are going to eliminate jobs, but really it's to the benefit of everyone else. How do you feel about that?
Well, I mean, as an example, the one that you hear about a lot is the issue of the driverless cars. And in our office, we did have a driverless car a couple of years ago, so you're a little bit ahead of the curve. That's usually, obviously, using intelligence. I think each AI needs to be considered on its own merit. I mean, you hear, as an example, that driverless cars, if they were national, would save the lives of 42,000 people every year. Now, is that true? I don't know. But just the concept that people get killed because you've got reckless drivers. I know, you know, anybody who's had that, it's happened in my family, so I know how awful it is. So if AI is used for the benefit of the public, nothing could be better. Will driverless cars eliminate jobs? Maybe, particularly on the national highways where you have trucks going back and forth. I believe that's going to be the first place. On the other hand, safety. So, you know, that's a trade-off. I don't want to lose jobs, but I want people to be safe. There's so many examples where AI is all based on the algorithms. Can, sort of like open data, can we get the algorithms right? You know, would it help with teachers doing lesson plans? You wouldn't eliminate teachers, but would the plans be better for the students? I don't know. So I think you have to look at each case. The cars is an interesting one because I don't want to lose the jobs of the truck drivers, but I want people to be safer. So that's a trade-off.
And there's so much to think about too, and it seems like you have so much to do in your day-to-day and just the things you're paying attention to that, you know, the average person doesn't think of when it comes to like technology and data and AI. But what's something right now that you see other people doing, or maybe it's a company article you read online that you're very excited about? Not only that, but the future. What excites you?
Well, I have to say that what does excite me is the technology revolution and jobs that are now available. We have heard that in cybersecurity, big topic, thousands of jobs are unfilled. So the question is, how can New Yorkers, I have a friend who trains disabled New Yorkers in wheelchairs, how can they be part of the job and the workforce in technology? So that excites me. There was an article in the paper over the weekend, in the Times over the weekend, about a company in Queens that is doing just that. They are training hundreds of people for these unfilled jobs. People who have records, people who wouldn't normally, people who live in the housing authority, who wouldn't normally, their salaries going from $15,000, $20,000 to $80,000 or $90,000 just after a couple years of training. That excites me. That kind of effort that is successful excites me.
That's wonderful, and it does sound like, I mean, my heart goes out to you, and I just think you're doing a wonderful job to make other people's lives better, especially where you live, but I think it's going to affect more people. And I'm excited to hear you speak tonight and more on what you're working on. So thank you for taking the time to talk with us tonight.
Thank you very much, and I love podcasts.
Oh, great.